all my young people. Big Bill, Picasso. I used to sell crack in the trap. Now I make music at least 5,000 a track. Schedules collect dust in the shelf. I go in my cocoon and reinvent myself.
I used to watch your back to pull out the dagger. I move too fast, coming up the ladder. Greedy in need, but I'm destined to change it. I made it, now I'm blessed. The next generation.
I see blue angels flying in the sky, and I'm reaching high. We keep on winning. I'm living my expectations. This is my presentation. To the next generation. To the next generation. To the next generation. To the next generation. I'm extraordinary, yeah, so ordinary. I live my life to the fullest. Why they wanna take it from me? I feel those dark and lonely nights. This is dedicated.
Finally, I can see, I can breathe, I believe. I was angry alone, unhappy and cold, dragging my soul, agony road.
My mind's ahead, y'all. I perceive a future and ask for this gift. I see all these spirits every time that I look in the sky. And only intervention in front of my eyes, for
I
real.
would swallow my problems, roll in the haze, smoke them away. Hoping today would just go away. Holding my faith, no, I won't let go till you open the
This is
gates.
for the youngsters. You're the beginning of the future. You ain't gotta be a thug of a hustler. I leave an invitation so you can enter with me into the nation. I see blue angels flying in the sky, and I'm reaching high. We keep on winning. I'm living my expectation. This is my presentation. To the next generation. To the next generation. To the next generation. To the next generation.
Otherwise, I may be speaking and not have anything coming off to you, as I realize. Yeah, so we had to literally restart and reboot and things like this because, as we were saying, YouTube, realized that we were playing certain videos that that were not our own videos. So they say since it's the first time the platform was break the rules or something, the community guidelines. So it's only a warning. I mean, we always talk to you about the changes of YouTube. So this time we applied them. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, we were sharing with you those videos as important as they are to what we were trying to say, but the guidelines must be respected nonetheless. So we may continue or conclude with this live today, only speaking on what we saw so far. For those who had the ability, because we will not go and strike, I mean, not strike, but complain about this, because this is what's to expect. This is what it's supposed to be, or something like that. You see, so if you missed the first part of the live, then it's only you can see. We only share a scientific perspective of the virus and how to look at the coronavirus and how to keep safe of it. And also we shared a little cartoon avatar video about from Nickelodeon and stuff like this, about activating the chakras, which is something that's gonna happen whether we want it or not. You see what I mean? So some people will have it happen to them and they have nothing to do with it, except the energies were so powerful that they activated the being. But once the being is activated without the conscious decision made, there's no saying how that being is gonna react. It's just like somebody who don't know anything about the activating Kundalini energy and stuff like this, and then they go without assistance and knowledge, proper knowledge, and they go and activating the Kundalini energies, and then they become so crazy that they have to lock them up in the madhouse or something like that. You see what I mean? So the thing is, like, we can literally say when you see the zombies or something eating each other's flesh in the movies and stuff like this, you can say that is a fully activated being. You see, because if the being, is fully activated and he got activated in the beast mode, not surrendering the beast mode or something like this, then of course it is the beast that's gonna have the energy to deal with. You see, I mean, which is like a madness or something, or mad, whatever, crazy nonsense. I don't know why you could call that. You see what I mean? But you can see the depiction, how Hollywood depict that. But those who have done the necessary work and listening to those that tell them to submit the ego and whatever it is, surrender the ego and to go beyond consciously and stuff like this, then of course without the ego, so it is the pure self that's gonna have the energy, and then of course that being is a fully activated being, which is what the 144,000 number was about. And of course we are working on the cartoon animated video, short, about less than a minute video, to talk about this, where many of us have a different understanding of the 144,000 when we hear that from the scriptures. But the main thing is it has to do with the fully activated being, all chakras online and moving. Because when you take all the petals of the different chakras and stuff like this, and then you multiply them together, and at the end you'll find from the 7 gates, it all equals to 144, and stuff like times 1,000, which is the crown chakra petals, will give you 144,000 number. So when you hear the 144, it has nothing to do with your skin color. It has nothing to do with your creed, what you believe in, Jesus or Muhammad. It have nothing to do with you believing in Buddha or this and that. It has nothing to do with your belief whatsoever. It mostly has to do with your inner work. You see, I mean, building the temple that was not built by hand, or something like that. See, I mean, the same work that Suleiman had to do, Solomon, or something like that. You see what I mean? So once all the chakras are activated and you heal all the necessary portals and stuff like this, then of course you see everything will come into line. Just like the planets will be aligned, so do you will be aligned within, all the energies within. You see, and these are the people that they speak of, 100. It may not be 144,000 of them. It may be more, it may be less. The 144,000 has nothing to do with how many. You see what I mean? So that's what we are trying to say. And this is why you may find us speaking on things that to you may make no sense, because you cannot make the connections with what's going on with the time. It's not that it doesn't have a connection, because in reality, everything is connected. It's just you think that they are not. You see, that's the illusion in your own mind. So the thing is, like, basically, is just that's why we focus on the heart. It's not by chance, because the heart is where most beasts, vibrating animals or whatever we are, which is not all that we are. So of course you don't have to feel bad about that, because when we say beast, we're not taking ourselves out of the beast mode, because we are also that same beast. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, the animal self, you see, if it does not do the necessary work to vibrate beyond the survival, which has to do with the three lower chakras, from the Muladhara or the root chakra, to the solar plexus or something like that. You see what I mean? From the lower chakra, the lower chakra, the foundation, to the sacral, which has to do with the waters, sexual waters at best, and then which is the sexual energies, of course, which is one thing that we talk about more too, and also to the being, which is, okay, be a millionaire, be this, be that, be that. Everybody wanna be something other than themselves. You see what I'm saying? So those three chakras, you see, I mean, you have to overcome these chakras, or surpass these chakras, which has been the only level that humanity been vibrating on, to go through the heart chakra, where man meets God. And who is God, who is man, except that it is one and the same. So the lower meets the higher. So the higher may influence the lower, or something like that. You see what I mean? So the thing is, like, basically, and this is why we speak of love, because like the cartoon was saying, the heart chakra deals with love. And then what blocks it is, I think, is hate, or something like this. You see what I mean? So that's why we need to forgive, or this and that, blah, blah, blah. Or because most people will think, oh, it's my time now to vindicate, or to avenge whatever they done to me, blah, 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 this and that. But we can't really feed your insecurities no longer. We cannot feed your lower monkey type minds no longer. We have to tell it to you as it is, because there's no need to lie to you and make you, okay, yeah. That's why most of the time, when we think there's an end to the journey, oh, yeah, let's go, okay, yeah, it's time now it's my time to do. You fuck with me, then I'm gonna fuck with you now. My time for revenge or whatever. But it's a waste of that energy. When you are feeling revenge, when you come to that destination of the time to turn the table, you realize, okay, you have a choice to either go back to the same thing and becoming the other one in the mirror, or becoming the oppressor, becoming this, or you completely let it go and forget about it and move on, or something like this. But most of us will feel like, yo, why should I move on? I still have to deal with it. They did this to me. They did that to me. It's my time now to return what they did to me, blah, blah, blah. So what you're doing is literally reliving the same thing. The only difference is that you're on the other side now. You are now the oppressor, and they are the oppressed. And then, you see what I mean? You reverse the table instead of moving forward and stuff like this. That's why we cannot help you do that with your own self, with your own time. Except that we have to allow you to understand how life works and how to see it, so that you can keep on evolving and keep on moving on. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we're not saying, oh, whatever people did, they're not supposed to pay. But nah, that's not what we're saying. The thing is, like, we just want to make sure that we are moving forward. That's all. You see what I'm saying? Of course, whatever happens, it had to happen, blah, blah, blah. We're aware of all that. You see what I'm saying? But that's why we're not going to allow it to be a blockage. And like we see the blockage, you see black. You put a black on your energy. Oh, because I have to deal with this again. You see what I'm saying? But, it feels good that I'm not the oppressed anymore. Now I'm the oppressor. You see? So if you choose to be the oppressor, one thing you have to understand is that, so why do the oppressor deserve to be punished if you now the oppressor? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Now what you have to do is the understanding as the oppressor, will you admit to your own punishment when it's that time for you, or do you understand what it is now? You see what I'm saying? So that's why there's no disconnection. That's why just have to understand the reality and how it works. And when it's most uncomfortable for you to hear someone speak, doesn't mean that's not what you need to hear. You see, I know, you want to run to the platforms that may tell you what you want to hear because it's about the numbers, this and that. Nothing wrong or right. But here, we don't make it about anything except what it's supposed to be. You see, nothing controls, nothing do this, because, we are part of the, freedom on platform. So whatever, we are free to say or do whatever it is that needs to be said or done. You see what I mean? That's why you see whatever you call a weakness, we accept it as our strength. You see what I'm saying? The less number is a weakness, we take it as our strength. Not making it about money, whatever. You see what I mean? Because when you are evolving, when it's about you, whatever holds you now. Like, okay, we need to survive. We need to create generational wealth. Okay, that's the new blockages, right? So now you have the choice to either take them and stay there, or overlook them and move on. You see what I'm saying? So, not saying that it's not part of life. It's not. You don't reject anything. You just, the only thing you choose not to reject is your own evolution. Everything else that dissolves, it dissolves. Doesn't mean it doesn't serve. It still serves some way or another. Well, that's not our job to talk about that right now, whatever. But we're just saying what needs to be said. So the thing is, like, to go back to the coronavirus situation, how does that relate? Is that crown chakra, you see, which is what may be to the cosmic energy, which is the energy that's coming through right now, which is the energy that vibrates with the crown chakra, 1,000 petals and stuff like this. So whoever already had their chakras aligned and, or even at least trying to, or something like this. So now, if it's not aligned, then that's when, that mind is going to go crazy on them and stuff like this, because there's no alignment. They do have a lot of data, and the more data they have, or more knowledge, or more books they have read, the more questions, and those questions going to multiply by 1,000. You see what I'm saying? Or something like that. And then, that's why it's so hard to survive the time unless you surrender or something like this and come as that child. So the thing is that there's always an answer to every issues that we pose to ourselves. But the thing is, like, the crown, many are saying, what is corona? Corona is Spanish for crown, like we were saying. You see what I mean? Corona is Spanish for crown. So when you see coronavirus, to us, according to our own understanding, based on what we've been, living and understanding in our own journey or evolution, we see that it is a time that was foreseen where humanity will awaken to their full potential. Whether aligned or non-aligned, they will know, whether directly or indirectly, that they have more power than they thought. You see, they are more powerful than they thought. And those who used to see themselves to the lenses of slaves and whatever, this and that, and their journey is about slaves and slave masters, this and that, like that, they will realize that they were also at some point in time masters themselves. So the ego now, non-surrendered, who is aware of all this, now gonna wanna do something. If he was feeling like, oh, I was down, I was a slave, now he needs to experience and project that king self or whatever it is. You see what I mean? Then this is why we were preparing the followers of ours and the people who listen to us to understand what's going on and stuff like this, and how to move in the time and stuff. So most of these people now, especially the Moorish brothers amongst us and stuff like this, and those, who think it's about controlling the world, but not themselves. They don't see things as they are the world. They see things that, okay, we are to be controlling the world now, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? So the thing is that, but the main world we need to control is ourselves. You see, and this is why, the scriptures would say too that the kingdom is within. The garden is within. All the things that we need to, okay, if you have to be becoming king, that's why when I was saying king over you, I tell people when I speak to myself in time and whatever, and whoever is in time on the same journey as me, whatever I say may serve them as well. But I speak to myself first. When you see I say I am king over you, I'm speaking to my world and whatever belongs to it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying king over anyone next to me. It's king over myself. But of course, the one that can be a king over others is the one that first became a king over themselves. Just like Egypt used to do it, of course. But we should not seek to control or be king over anyone but ourselves. Because whoever seek to control others have lost control of their own selves. And then, trust me, it doesn't matter how many you control outside of yourself. The only control that matters is that which is within. You see what I'm saying? So that's, many people may misunderstand us, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? And then since we realize they misunderstand, that's why you may find the virus come out. That's when it's activated. That not because Corona is new, but it was spoken about, it was expected or whatever it is. But the Corona is when everybody now want to be king. You see, like everyone is buying their thrones, everyone is buying their kingship garments, and everyone is sitting like kings, and they want to project that image of themselves. You know, I mean, even the late Michael Jackson and this and that, you know, may travel whole. You see, like even in the song Black or White, or the time, do we remember the time or whatever. You see, because it's that realization, you see, of self, you see. But mainly we can misunderstand that realization. You see, he has nothing to do with being king of the world, controlling the world, go around killing, and if you don't obey me or serve me, then that's not what it's about. It is conquering the ego self. You see, conquering yourself, being king. Meaning, if there's a master within and a slave within, because whatever is within is without. So the spirit is supposed to be the master within, right? Because the spirit is timeless, is boundless, is limitless, is this and that. So it is by nature the master. But the ego also, if you don't know yourself, of course the ego may take the place of master and have the upper hand. You see what I mean? That's the danger of the mind. If it does not understand what it's looking at, you see, of course it's gonna misappropriate the positions. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, basically, so now you will find that most of us want thinking, okay, like, you know, we need to become kings, or it's our time now to shine. Like, ego is running rampant and acting all arrogant, or I'm better than this. Even some people, if they cannot guide their children, and the children are coming not talking about melanin or melanin power, this and that, or we black power, you know what I mean? It's the same thing they hated, but different name. You see, they are becoming the poison now. That's why we wanted to help to see, okay, we see the poison is now transforming because the cure is within the disease, right? So the ones that used to think that they need to control the world now are realizing that the control must be on themselves. Therefore, no longer is the disease, you see, because it's transforming to the solution, to the cure. But at the same time, those who are infected by their words and action and stuff like this now are becoming the disease themselves. You see, just like white power was the disease, now create the black power as the symptoms or something like that. You see what I mean? So now this is why anyone or leader, whatever, you know, I mean, that is feeding that ego thing, like, it's not that they are wrong because they really don't know what they're saying or doing, just like Christ said. You see, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And this is something that is so true. You see what I'm saying? So these, you know, the leaders, because we are leaders by not by choice, is by nature, you see. So of course, with our mind not being in the proper place, we always gonna continue to be ourselves, which are leaders. Who's to say we're gonna lead properly or misguided? Except that it's whatever we comprehend is gonna dictate, you know, what it is. But if we misunderstand what kingship or crown or all of these things are, then of course we're gonna misguide each other. You see what I'm saying? And this is why now, in the age where everyone should focus on themselves, most leaders is forcing them to look at all the ills of the world as it is outside of themselves. But the proper way to lead from now is to force people to go within themselves. Whatever they are seeing outside exists within. So you have no power on the outside when you go on the outside seeking to change anything. You can't. Because the more you touch it, the more it multiplies and or something like that. But when you go within, that's where you have the power to do anything. You see, that's why leadership now is not about, okay, oh, look what Michael Jackson did, look what Elijah Muhammad did, look what Malcolm X did, look what V did, look what this did, look what, nah. But see how we, just like I've been doing, that's why the only thing I tell you is what caused me to be safe and sane in these times. It's the same thing I'm sharing with you. Not what I've read, but what I've overcome. You see what I'm saying? So, and how I overcome. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, I realize it's too much to worry about anyone because I was not that nosy type of person, thank God, you see. So I was like, okay, let me see how it is for me. I never even heard of those words or focus, as within, so without. I didn't hear them yet. I didn't know of them yet. I heard those things probably 2 years the most. You see what I mean? When I was aware, like listening to Saneder's platform and the brothers that speak on, on Egyptian methodologies and stuff like this, then that's when I started hearing this type of terminologies. But that's the thing, that's why the knowledge exists within you without words already. So of course, once you hear it with words, it's gonna align with what you already know through vibration. You see what I mean? Because that's how you can connect the dots, you see, to see if it makes sense. Because it has to make sense with the non-word knowledge with the word knowledge. If they don't come in alignment, then therefore you have to find what comes to alignment. So the thing is, like, we understood that we have to focus on ourselves because we realized that, okay, we have enough in ourselves to work on than to focus on the outside. The type of things we run away from, the responsibility that we held with the sexual healing and stuff like that, we used to run from it because we were perverted. You see, by the way we were raised, to religious understanding of the sexual energies and things. We were made to believe that sexual energies are not godly; they are of a satanic thing. So anything sexual is to be hidden, is to be this, is to be that. Though we understand that it is a private matter. Sexual is matter of the dark because the dark creates the light, not the light creates the darkness. Of course, we understand the privacy level, just like in the old time where the elders used to, he used to take an elder, to look over a sexual alchemy or two energies, yin and yang, or male and female coming together under the church roof, in the basement of the church or in the wherever, somewhere private, where the two people come together and have sex, and so that somebody else may overlook, and making sure that they are doing the proper things so that whatever comes out of that sexual energy, whether it is of a physical nature or spiritual nature or something like this, then it is what they expect to have. That's the power of the sexual energies, and it is nothing but godly, you see. So I had to overcome all of these things, like the understanding, putting the proper perspective within my own programming, you see, reprogram myself first, you see, because that's the type of work we have to do in order to move forward. We can't have the same sickness, the dirty waters, thinking that we boil it and then it comes clean. But we have to literally throw away whatever needs to, and I don't even want to say throw away this and that, but you know what I mean. So the thing is, somehow we realized the work had to be done. You see what I mean? Because as things are happening, because certain things we have a choice to do the work or not, but when the energies have to be on the outside, they come and influence the energies within, then the chakras will be activated whether you're ready or not, and blah, 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 this and that. You see what I mean? So now that this is the crown, that's why many people thinking that it's about, controlling now or exchange of power. Though all this, may be happening, because there is a synthetic matrix that seek to copy the organic matrix. They do the things the same way. So of course there's gonna be a relation to that or whatever, but the reality still remains that You see, it is something that is of a, within aspect or within nature. You see what I'm saying? So the crown chakra being activated it has nothing to do with you becoming a king over anyone or me becoming a king over you, though you may be or whatever, this and that, but that's not what it's about. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is like basically it's mostly you connecting back to your higher self. You see, I mean having that umbilical cord or cranial cord or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Back to the cosmic things, becoming more than oneself. You see, where everything is connected. So that in that state of mind, you cannot blame anything or anyone. You cannot avenge against anyone, this and that, because you are seeing everything as yourself. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we were preparing you for it and sharing the necessary people like Muji and Sadhguru, those who have transcended the ego self, you see, I mean, and are here helping us, guiding us towards our evolution and stuff like this. And shout out to all these brothers, those that we know by name and those we do not. I mean, we revere you, we thank you for all your services and all your guidance, of course. So the thing is like basically, and when you see the coronavirus, I say they call it a virus. The elite may call it a virus because, of course, these people then come and rally and want to create havoc and further havoc, rally against the 1%, rally against some government, rally again, and then trying to, mobilize and flip over things, destroying, you know what I mean? Thinking it's the time to destroy things, you see, I mean, let's get rid of the government and then now we replace them by the same, of course, because we failed to do the necessary work, what we needed. The destruction had to happen, but it is the destruction of our own egoistic self, you see what I mean? It's not destruction of the buildings or the government base or blah, 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 you see what I mean? All of these things, that's what it's gonna come down to, because we are expecting things to be outside, you see, not inside. It's misguided. That's the energy we need to have, but it's misguided. It's misguided to the outside instead of the inside. Really, the world outside don't need us to do anything so long as we're not doing what needs to be done inside. You see what I'm saying? Because it goes from the inside out, you see? So that's how it is. So you are affected in the inside, then you will show on the outside. You may not even need to do anything extra. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we try to say, and that's why what we say is not in majority of the time it will not or may not be in contradiction with what Sadhguru may be saying or what Muji Baba be saying or any other great spiritual leaders may be saying. Because we saying one truth. We should be speaking one truth, you see. It may be different language, different cultures attached or whatever, but the essence is one. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So really, all they are saying, you will never find these people, these brothers and sisters telling you to take the time now and avenge. Take the present and seek revenge with it. Or take the present to destroy the world around you because all these things are wrong, blah, blah, blah. They will never tell you these things. They will always bring the focus back to yourself. You see what I'm saying? And this is why what we do cannot be against them, because we do see that the teaching that they are giving is the proper teaching anyway. So our best is to just follow and continue and give ears and eyes and mouth to the same teaching, because that's the main one. You see what I mean? Anything that's telling you anything outside, we're not saying it's wrong, but it is behind time. You see, because it may have made sense if we were developing base chakras. You see what I mean? Like the Muladhara and the Savasana or whatever chakra, or the sacral or the solar plexus or whatever. It may have made sense at that time for this time being. You see, okay, to do this, blah, 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 whatever. You see what I mean? But it would not make sense whatsoever beyond them. You see what I mean? Because this is not, though we may have a survival aspect to it, but that's not what it's about. You see, it's not about trying to survive, because now you are aware of a part of you that is not surviving, that it's not it needs not to survive. You see what I'm saying? Because it is infinite, It is before and after. It is now. You see what I'm saying? It encompasses time. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, basically you would see the coronavirus is about that, like people that want to be leaders and they want to be have followers and creating further havoc and this and that. That's why they may call that a virus. It's something they expected, and to them they think the 5G will help taming that virus. You see, though it is helping, because now all those that are trying to lead the world want to take over and say, okay, it's now time to control, it's now time to be on the seat of power, this and that. Okay, now there's a danger that the world may face or something like this. Do you think you fit to guide the world in such time or something like this? It will allow us to see what's going on now and to check ourselves and see, okay, are we ready to take the seat of power? Sometimes it's not that the elite or whoever don't want to give the seat or something. Sometimes you may think that way. But the main question is, like, are they ready to take the seat? You see, because every head may want to wear the crown, but are they able to wear that crown? Do they have the capacity or something like this? Because, of course, the crown, gold, shiny, whatever, it is appealing to the ego. Of course, the ego always going to want to be the best it knows of. You see what I'm saying? But life is not about pleasing ego all the time. You see what I'm saying? So I would understand why they may see it as a virus. And 5G will tame that. And that's why they are not afraid to release 5G and this and that, because it will help taming, those cosmic energies when they come in. And then, your body is so low vibrating that it's not able to even connect, with the frequencies and stuff like this, because your frequency as the body within Earth is so low that it cannot match the frequency, the cosmic frequencies or whatever. To them, that's a way to control that. Why? Because for you to have all this energy within you with the wrong perspective of life and one perspective of your position and what you should be doing with yourself, then of course it's gonna create further chaos, because really energy is energy. It can be used for the lower part of ourselves, it can be used for the higher part of ourselves. That's why if we are vibrating as low surviving beings, like, because the kings that we want to become, we only thinking about what? Building a castle, grabbing wealth and lands so our children don't have to worry about it later. Or you see what I mean, like, do things that makes the ego look good and heavy or something like this. That's mostly what we have to offer, and whatever we talk about is what it is. Okay, that's why we seek leaders that can turn $1 to $100 or something, because that's where the mind is. You see, that's why we can't lie to those who who know better. You see what I'm saying? It's because everything we say is just clear. We know where the mind is, where we at, and what level you're vibrating on and stuff like this. No right, no wrong. You see, that's not what we're talking about. You see, we're just saying it as it is. You see what I mean? So, should we release the world to those that are only another aspect of the same thing? Okay, let's say the elite was a group of white folks taking all the resources of the world and do whatever they want with it. Is it really progression if we change the type of people that do the same thing, from white people to black people? Is it progress really, or is it an illusion of progress? You see, because yes, it's maybe different skin color doing the same thing, but it is the same thing nonetheless. You see what I mean? So that's why it sickens my heart when I hear people like talking about all this thing, like, oh, I'm better, or melanin power, this and that. Though I feel you, that's why the best thing I can say is, for those of the other races, who know better now, who are evolving, is to be patient with those, remember where they're coming from and stuff like this, what they have been through. Of course, it's gonna be first, okay, now I'm good, I'm a man, and they know it. Okay, let me prove myself a man. That's the thing. It's just, it's reaction, because they are sleeping beings and they don't know much or better, whatever. So they are just reacting to what they have been, surviving for so long. So of course, patience is something that is needed. That's why we're not here to hurt you, but we cannot promise you that what we say is not gonna hurt you. You see, but that's why God had to make us thick skin and a heart of rock or something, so that whatever you say or do may not affect us. And of course, us evolving have nothing to do with you, and you have no power to stop us from our own evolution or not. So really, you have no power over us, but all the power is over yourself. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we have to realize and accept that power of self, and that with our own weaknesses as well, to the point where we don't worry about what you say or think about us, just because we may have been helping you and you don't know that, and then you bite our hands for feeding you whatever it is. And I'm speaking in code. So that's why that we don't worry about you whatsoever, except that we only worry about helping you, assisting you, because it is also, to us there's no difference between you and us, or something like that. You see, that's why love had to be unconditional. You see, Sadhguru recently say, love is not unconditional, love is not conditional, and that's the higher truth. Love is love, and then the conditions are conditions. You see, they have nothing to do with one another, or something like that. But when we say if you were to connect love to something, it would be unconditional. Because when we say that, it means that love has nothing to do with the conditions. That's why we say unconditional. You see what I mean? So meaning it's not gonna say, okay, you serve me and I love you, whatever. That's not how love operates. Love will serve you, but if you serve love back, then it is for your own good. It has nothing to do with love. Love is fulfilled, love is whole, you see what I mean? That's what it is. So that's why those who inhabit love, or who project love, who are love or something like this, they're not worried about getting that love back. You see what I mean? Like, okay, no, because how can you shine light on the sun? How can you give money to the dollar? Can you give water to water, or whatever? It is already that which you give it. You see, it doesn't need it, or you take, it doesn't lose. You give, it doesn't add, or whatever. You see what I mean? It's not worried about it. It's just being it. You see. So, but I know love is something that you cannot be taught. It's something that can be felt and experienced, or something like that. That's why we understand that we're just helping, we're trying to explain what love is, but we cannot come close with words. You see what I'm saying? But of course, many people, we see it as love when they say you can't love everybody, you can't do this, you can't that, you have to watch your energy. Will you let this? People, you keep giving love and they're not returning, blah blah blah. But of course, we feel you, we feel the pain, but we don't want to share that pain with you, because we get where it's coming from. You see, I mean, we understand, or something like that, but we don't want to, we refuse to share that, because we understand better. You see what I mean? We know, like, not that you're wrong or you're right or whatever it is, but we know exactly where you're coming from. You see, that's why we revere the thought. We thank you for your concerns and things like this, but at the same time, we need to push forward, not give in to the weaknesses and be like, it's true, nobody give me that. No, that's not what it's about. Because if the world were rich, there would not be a need to give money to the world. If the world was loving, there would not need to give love to the world. That's why if you are rich, you shouldn't be expecting any money back, because you are money. And if you are loving, you shouldn't be worrying about getting love back, because you are love. You should be that which you give. What you have to offer the world is not something you have, but something that you are. That, if you can understand that better. You see what I'm saying? So you have to become that which you seek, so that you can give it without thought. You see what I mean? Without thinking, oh, I'm losing, whatever. No. But I understand the danger when we hear. That's why love or compassion has a downside to it, because when you feel people rooting for you, and then they want the best for you, they in pain when they see you giving love, and those people don't seem like they deserve it, whatever, you see what I mean? Then you may give in, like, okay, oh yeah, they are right, these people don't deserve that, whatever. And then you become toxic instead of loving, because you give in to the weaknesses of the people who are loving you or something like that. That's why you have to be immovable in certain times. You see what I mean? Once you become something, remain. That's what you become. You see, so long as you know it is a virtue, you know it's a power or that existed in you or something like that. So you have to keep being that. Of course, it's the compassion is gonna come and test that. This, that, everything is gonna come in the mind, whatever. It's gonna come and test that. But you would need to find a ground where you remain immovable. Still. You remain still so that people don't steal your position. Whatever. Still, remain still. STILL, so that you become still. STEEL, so that you can be still. And so no one can steal you. So you can be still, STEEL, so no one can steal, STEAL, your position. You feel me? Still. So that's what it is, guys. So more and more it's becoming more about the self, and the beauty is that it's becoming more apparent to those who couldn't see it before. You see? That's why when you hear us saying, cooperation, this and that is the lowest form. Though it is obvious, because you see the world had to turn nations to cooperation in order to make it easier to control the resources and the people and stuff like this, that they see also as resources, the highest form or something. So isn't it obvious? Is it something new that we are saying? So why would you feel bad or feel pain thinking that we are, trying to belittle your work or whatever? No. You have to believe in what you do. It doesn't matter what someone say, that you are firm in yourself, that what you do is valuable, this and that. Because when we say it's the lowest form of leadership, it's a truth. You see what I mean? It's the truth and a truth at the same time, right? It's subjective and objective at the same time. It is subjective because it depends on where you're looking at. If you are on the lower chakras, you are surviving on the 3 lower realms and stuff like this, then of course this is the main thing. This is the highest calling. You have to survive. Save your beans, save the seeds, and whatever for save for rainy days and this and that, blah blah blah. You see, that's the main thing you need to hear. But once you are vibrating beyond survival, then whatever was the highest becomes the lowest, and whatever was the lowest. That's what we mean, is because certain time in time, do you think spirituality teaching will be relevant to people? Because they're worried about safeguarding themselves, feeding their children, this and that. That's the least of their concern. That's what we're trying to say. You see what I mean? It's not the time for it. But the minute that survival does not become the priority, then of course teaching how to turn $100 to 100 or whatever is no longer the priority. You see, because it does not serve as well. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. That's why the main thing we can do is not to reject any part of ourselves, except that to put them into proper perspective. So when you hear us say lowest, it's because of where we're talking from and what we're talking about. You see what I mean? But it doesn't have anything to do with hurting anyone. But we let you understand it that way so that you can feel that pain. And through that pain, it creates a softness in you where the light may come through or the understanding may come through. But we do feel your pain. But we allow ourselves to let you feel it to the point where you become vulnerable enough to be affected by the light or the truth or something like that. But we feel you. We feel the pain. We know there's nothing that pains you that it doesn't pain us first. You see what I mean? That's why you need to understand that there are beings that are not out to get you, and to leave that mentality behind. Of course, there may be a majority of YouTubers, when they speak, you best believe they may be after you in time. It may not be now, but they're not talking about you, but it's only time could tell when it's your turn to feeling their wrath or something like this. Then I understand you may look out. But when it comes to our platform, as you can see, it's not about bashing, it's not about pointing fingers, it's not about this. So you are safe, you have nothing to worry about. Because here it's not about judging right and wrong. Because I know many people come to our platform and they still cannot comprehend what we talk about, that life is not about black and white, it's not about good or bad, evil or holy or whatever. It's not that. They are fighting those thoughts because they cannot see it for well within themselves yet. But it's not our fault because we cannot worry about those who are, not at par, who are not on the level to understand. Except that we speak, and then whoever fall off, fall off. You see what I mean? Because of course the frequency, if it's too much for them to withstand it, then of course they have to fall off. Just like every moth, may gravitate towards the lit bulb in the middle of the room, but some of them may survive that heat, but some of them will fall off the light bulb. You see, it's just the same thing. Nature always teaches us the reality every turn. You see what I'm saying? So when we speak, we seek not to worry about anything. Though we feel you, we are feeling. We know where we may say something that may pain you. We know all that, but we're not really focusing or paying too much attention of it. You see, but we do allow it to be in us. We feel it as you're feeling it. To feel it the same. No different whatsoever, except that we know that we are not our feelings, so we continue to do what we need to do regardless of how we feel about it. But we just say that to show you that don't think we are separate from you. There's nothing, of course, the minute that you cannot transcend the binary mindset, you are fighting it still or something like this, then of course you're gonna have that fight. You see, you're gonna always feel like it goes out to get you, this and that, blah blah blah. But you are doing it to yourself. You see, that's why you must open yourself to higher expression of self. You see what I mean? But it's not by repeating the lower ones. It's just by allowing those skins of the lower one to shed, so that you can become that lighter form of self. You see what I mean? But we understand that we are just giving you the perspective on the coronavirus, which is the crown virus, the king virus or something we call it, where everyone, but we are not projecting the virus, you see, because we are projecting it on a wholesome level, like the way it's supposed to be. Because we're not coming here with crown over unless we are speaking in code. You see what I mean? When you see crown, we mean chakra. You see what I'm saying? Because we know what the true crown is. It's not something that someone can steal from you. It's not something someone can knock off your head. None of that. You see what I'm saying? It's just the true kingship, you see? It's not something that you are chosen to be. Like, okay, we make you king. No, that's not what it is. Whoever made you can unmake you. You see what I'm saying? So, it is a virus, of course, when, people want to be that. It is open to the ego that, okay, kingship, anybody, the seat is vacant. Anybody can take the seat of power now. And they're all fighting for power, whatever. You see, but in reality, it's not about controlling others of the world. You see what I'm saying? Because all you're gonna do is to have something much more than you can handle. Because we have already created so many ways for us to destroy ourselves, unless we come to that one self, which is another video I meant to share with you from the latest Marvel. I think it's the Marvel movie with Thor and and Spider-Man, Black Panther, and all of them. I think it's Infinity War or Avengers Infinity War. In Infinity War, you see, we couldn't share it anymore because we don't want to strike again from the beautiful platform of YouTube or something like that. We want to do our best to respect the guidelines and everything and go with the flow with them and stuff like that, because we do understand what they are trying to do. So what it is like, what it is, it's just, what's his name, the Dr. Wu, Dr. whatever, I'm forgetting the name at the moment. The doctor who had an awakening and now working on the forces of good or whatever. You see what I mean? So what it is, he was in a session where he's traveling to the future, vibrating higher, meaning in the futuristic frequency or something, seeing the future. And then when he come back, the other heroes ask him what happened. It's like, oh yeah, I was traveling in the future. And then they say, what do you see? They say, oh, I see the different outcomes of our present and stuff like this. You say, oh yeah, how many do you see? It says something about 14,328,000, whatever the number is. You know, I mean, I'm just speculating. And then, and they say, okay, out of 14 million, this and that, blah, 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 how many will has the potential to win, to allow us to survive this? You say one. Of course, what else would you expect? Though it pains you to know out of a million perspectives of men giving answers and response and whatever this and that, only one may make it. That makes you scratch your head like, oh my God, one? But of course, he has to be one because there's only one truth. All the other perspectives are only perspective of that truth, meaning they may be tainted with someone's programming or whatever, upbringing or realizations or whatever it is, you know, that may affect those outcomes or something like that. You see what I mean? But one outcome. And then, you see, that's why we have to learn to pay mind. It's not gonna be the most complex, of course. That's why we always look for the complex ones, like, okay, the higher mathematicians, what they have to say about that outcome, or the highest physicist, or whatever we think is better. When in reality, it may be a simple truth from a child. You see what I mean? Something like that. That's why we have to really open ourselves and then really clear our minds and from judgment and stuff like that. So we may see things for what they are, not what we expect them to be. You see what I mean? But of course, there's always a way to survive anything or whatever it is, but only one way, as you can hear. You see what I mean? Humanity faces a future that is beautiful, but only one beautiful future out of 14 million, you know, different projection. You see what I mean? So that's what it is. So what do you think that future is? Is it the future that we are trying to lead ourselves into, based on something that we have not been on, which is love, through the heart chakra and stuff like this? Is it that simple? Because this is the only thing we have not yet to do, you see, going through the heart chakra properly and this and that, where we can experience love in ourselves. You see what I mean? Because we have experienced the lower aspect, the weakest aspect of it, which is hate and stuff like this. Okay, hate everything, like hate evil, or reject the devil, or whatever, demons are bad, and the angels are good, or whatever it is, the programming word, or something like that. You see what I mean? So now it's time now to accept things for what it is. Like, just accept it, because you do not here to change it, because it is what it is for a reason that it is. You see what I'm saying? So this is maturity, to see things for what they are and accept them for what they are. You see what I mean? It's more than just peeking at the world. Like, okay, these people are bad, or the government is doing this, or whatever. It's not that we don't see what you see, because trust me, it doesn't take a lot of understanding and brain power to get what is obvious and whatever, you see. I mean, we may think so, but it doesn't. So that's why, you know, we have to think bigger, you see what I'm saying? And stuff like that. You see, that's why you see, you know, all these things, more freedom may be taken away, or more this, more that, may be, you know, more sickness, more viruses, more this, because we only running after the symptoms, but not addressing the source, or something like that, which is self, you see. So when you hear corona, we want to make it about what it's supposed to be about. Let's say it's not about that based on the scientists, but that's what we're making it about right now. You see, it's our choice, our perspective, the way we want our world to be, to heal it or whatever. So what we say matters most than what anyone else say on our own platform, right? So what we say is that many of us are becoming to the gnosis. So okay, it's time, okay, it's freedom now, sovereignty. As you can hear, everybody's talking about becoming sovereign, becoming this, becoming that, becoming king, becoming queen. As you can see, the parents now, they think they have to teach their children to wear king shirts and queen shirts and wear crowns and take pictures with crowns and this and that. But in reality, it's not what it's about. You see what I mean? It's about that crown, but the chakra. It's about wearing something over your chest, but it's opening that heart, you see, to higher vibrations and this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's all about the self. There's no need to update AI or this and that in reality, but there's a need to update the mindset. You see what I mean? Or something like that. It's all a within work more than it is outside work. But of course, we can always take lesser solutions based on where we're looking from. You see what I mean? So that's what it is. And then, of course, it is a virus because, look, now we stay quiet about it except that we share certain things. Because at the same time, we don't want to make it too funny, though there's a funny aspect of it. Yes, people are dying, this and that, but how don't you see human beings are still making fun because they still don't see a danger yet, whatever. Some may see it because they're experiencing it. Some may not see it because they're not experiencing it. It's different perspective at one time. You see what I'm saying? So what it is, it's like sometimes we want to show the severity and of the problem, this and that, because there is an aspect of that. Sometimes we just show don't worry about it aspect of that because there is also an aspect of that. You see, I mean, it's all based on what we do with ourselves. That's going to dictate if it is something to worry about or not. You see what I'm saying? But just because I may know how to do, what to do, and what's going on doesn't mean it's all about me. You see what I mean? So we are connected. So long as someone may have their own perspective, then we are all susceptible to the situation, the same situation. You see what I mean? So the thing is that basically you will find all of these things, like corona, like we say it's crown, like you may see the virus in the poster is wearing a crown. You see what I mean? So what it is like, you see, it's the coronavirus show most people you see who are out there just egoistically driven, showing that, my community, I have billions of followers, this and that, and I can lead. I can do this. I'm a leader by nature, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm a king. I'm a this, I'm a that. Follow me. I can save you. I can do this, whatever. You see what I mean? That's the coronavirus. You see, the king wants to be the leader. It's something natural. You see what I'm saying? So it's just misplaced. You see, misappropriated or something like that. So you see what I mean? So then when something happened, the police is killing, then they wanna kill back or whatever. You see what I mean? Every solution come testing the waters that they are in, and then they just doing the same thing that they are fighting. You see what I mean? Against, you see, oppressing or whatever, blah blah blah. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you see when this such thing happen, a pandemic or whatever, then the weak one who is calling for the crown will fall back automatically and naturally. Because in reality, they will know the capacity. They know what they want to handle and what they don't want to handle. So they will fall back and and then start joking around. You see, it's not serious, whatever. That means they start their little legs start shaking in front of the issue. So now it is exposed that they are not ready to lead all these people who followed them as leaders. Because in the land of the one-eyed man, I mean the blinds, the one-eyed man is king. You see, if these followers know better, of course they're gonna fall for the loudest mouth. You see what I'm saying? But there's a danger to that. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we always speak about these things. And to us, that's what the coronavirus represents. You see what I'm saying? It is based on cosmic situations. And as the cosmos is within, so it is without. You see, when we say cosmic, we don't mean the outer cosmos without the inner cosmos being integrated. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So how do you safeguard yourself? We already share certain things. If you are coming from a level of the 3 lower chakras and you are worried about being infected by whatever, know that it's not a cough. This is what we meant to remind you that this is season pollen, the plants are pollinated and stuff like this, and we always have a sinus reaction to the pollinations of the plants coming back to life and stuff like this. So it's a natural process of things, and then that's why the virus noise come at the right time, because we will feel one another. Because even on the train, like I was taking example of my own daughter earlier, you see how whenever she see a Chinese person, she want to distance herself and cease to breathe, and this and that, and not only her, and then many people does do the same thing. They feel the need to do the same thing, quarantine certain people, do this, do that, or whatever, blah blah blah. You see what I mean? But in reality, there's a work that needs to be done at the same time. You see, that has nothing to do with anyone outside of ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So there's different aspects to it. There may be a physical aspect to the virus. There's also a spiritual aspect to it. But we mostly focus on the spiritual things. But of course, not excluding the physicality of it. That's why we say, okay, we give you since you're going to be sneezing due to the nature of the time, it is spring, being sprung, of course. And so, So what it is, you're gonna have, sneeze and coughs and whatever, which is natural every year or something like this. But we may take that out of context and think it has to do with corona or whatever. So do the proper things that you used to do, which is wash your hands, and then instill onions, cut onions, and put them in different corners of your homes, because onions do attract toxins from the air that you breathe, and then you see what I mean. And this is why chefs and those who are in the kitchen all the time will tell you, once you cut the onion, you don't save it for tomorrow in the fridge, because it will absorb all the toxins in the fridge. You see what I mean? So that's, you put onions when people cough around you, not because of corona, but because of spring and pollen in the air. You see what I'm saying? And then the onions will absorb all the toxin that the person is coughing and stuff, because not everyone knows how to cough properly, and because these are things that parents teach, but not all parents know to teach the children. Because I remember myself, I went to buy my green juice or something like this, natural juice somewhere, and then the person that worked there coughed in the hand. He was coughing in his hand before he make the juice. But thank God he was not the one that was served me at that time. But I couldn't help seeing how he coughed in his hand, not knowing that you cough in your hand, that's germs. You see what I mean? But that's why many children will sneeze in someone's face. They don't know better. But my children, since baby, I teach them to turn their faces, the least they can do, or not cough in your hand. And if that ever happened by mistake, you have to wash your hands after. And you cough maybe in your arms and whatever, something that's not gonna come back to you. You don't put it out to come back to you. You make sure to tame it instead of allowing it to return to you when you didn't need that. You see what I'm saying? So those are the physical necessary precautions or something like that. And then also 5G. With 5G, we always tell you we have the 5G blocker or EMF blocker or radiation blocker from Brother Zakor. You see what I mean? We may, if we don't have, we may order more, and so that we can, because we are authorized distributor. And we already share with you a video how this blocker works, where one of the most potent ones out there, when you put it next to the radiation of the cell phone, if you put the blocker next to the cell phone, you see up to 0 radiation whatsoever. And when you take away the blocker from the phone, and then you see red level radiation. You see what I'm saying? So they work. You see, whether you understand how or not, but the video cannot lie to you. It will show you how it works. So we still have those for those who need. Send us a message. Let us know where to send it, how many you need. If your children use cell phones, as the scientist was saying, the cell phone in your pocket was not meant to be in your pocket. They call the laptop, desktop, because it was meant to be on the desk, not on your lap. The phone was not meant to, it was meant to be 30 meters away from you or whatever, not in your pocket, so close to your loins and your sexual glands and stuff like this. And we wonder why many of us are becoming with coming up with low sperm counts, and women ovaries are not working, and this and that, blah blah blah. You see, because these technologies, they do have certain effects, because we are energy, we are the electrical beings and stuff like this, just like the cell phone. So of course there's gonna be an intermediary and an interchangeable, frequency and stuff like that, and then it's gonna be an effect or whatever. Sometimes, don't you see, our energy affect the cell phones. If we are vibrating too high for the cell phone, then the cell phone start going slower, because too much frequency interference and stuff like this coming in and overpowering the cell phone. That's why when I'm holding my cell phones, it's hard for me to find signals, whatever, because my energy is overlapping the cell phone or whatever. And that time too, I can even feel the cell phone radiation in my hand if I'm vibrating a little low for the moment, you see, or whatever. And I feel the radiation coming. I feel it. You see what I mean? Because I'm not dead. I can sense still, or something like that. So that's what it is. There's always an exchange. That's why sometimes when we come and speak, people think it's about speaking, but nah. Like your ego is always gonna make you feel, oh, my voice is better because I have 1 million followers. My voice is better because I have more money. My voice is better because. But in reality, it's an illusion, because whatever illusion you have, it's only stopping you, no one else. That's why we want to make sure to speak, to talk to each other and stuff. I hear you, but do you hear me, and stuff like that. That's what's important. Because it doesn't matter how much I hear you, it's not complete if you don't hear me as much. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing, is not you or me, it's both of us together. You feel me? So that's what it is. So we thank you. This is our perspective, but of course, spiritual perspective, energetics perspective on the 5G and stuff like this, because we expected, the virus to be the crown or the kingship virus to come, because of course the ego has been feeling like a slave, 3% of a man, whatever was put on it, and then you see what I mean. So of course it's gonna have the same thing to become that which he hated. You see what I'm saying? That's why we're not that popular, and we don't seek to be popular. It's because the truth is not, it doesn't depend on popularity whatsoever, because it's potent enough to bring the necessary change that everyone, whether you reject it or accept it, needs. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we stand on the rock, and that's all there is to it. With you or without you, we truly don't need you, or the truth really don't need you as much as you need the truth. You see what I'm saying? So that's why let me take myself out of it, because except that I just surrender to truth. I'm not the truth or whatever. I surrender to it. Of course, we are all the truth, because we are created in truth. Of course, only truth may create, right? That's why even the synthetic matrix has to adapt the truth before it can even be relevant, or something like that. You see what I mean? See the power of the absolute truth. So. But of course, with us, you will always know better. You will always know. We will seek to always speak it as it's supposed to be. And of course, those who ridicule, at the end of the day, it's not about who laughs. It's who will get the last laugh. That's why we love it when we let you laugh. Just go. We don't feel bad about it. We just laugh with you, to tell you the truth. And then but we just wish that you could laugh too when it's our turn to laugh. That's why most of the time when it's our turn to laugh, we don't laugh, because we can't help. We're not demonic in a way that we don't see you in ourselves. You see, so what's the laugh except that we will laugh on our own selves? That's why Till Swan herself said the best thing once. She said that you can never win against yourself. What she meant by that is like you may be fighting or laughing, this and that, blah blah blah, but you, in the end, you are laughing about yourself, because in reality, who's gonna be victor against themselves? You see, because it's you anyway. So how can there be victory over yourself or whatever? You see, that's why you have to embrace everything and everyone, instead of making it a separate part of yourself. You see, that's a teaching that no longer serve humanity at the moment. The world really do not need that, except that we can learn from that. You see, but we cannot use that no longer. You see what I mean? Or any longer. You see? So that's what it is. So our job was to make sure that we guide the energies of the leaders, spiritual ones mostly. But of course, there's no disconnection between spiritual and money. Of course, so because money is energy, the paper is only a medium of that exchange of energy. It's not the energy itself. So of course, money has to do with it. You see what I mean? But like we say, money was to say that the energy is worth something if the people that's to give it the value is not valuable enough to see value when it comes to them or when it faces them. Just like some people will choose the chocolate bar over the silver bar because they can see the obvious value of the chocolate bar that they may consume on the spot, but they may not see the value in the silver. You see what I'm saying? But does that mean that silver is less valuable than chocolate? At time, maybe. You see what I mean? But not absolutely. You see what I mean? So we're only saying this thing to help you think for yourself so that you can understand things when it is told to you, when it shows something that you should have understand yourself, you see? But in reality, like we say, never mean to hurt. And laugh now if you're monkey enough. And monkeys always laugh or whatever. Even not excluding myself, of course. Because like I say, I laugh. I so with you. When you laugh, whether at me or with me, I laugh as well. But the only time I seek not to laugh is when it's my time to laugh, not your time. So instead, I choose to see me in you or you in me and feel what you feel at the moment and not a laughing matter. And so when you can't laugh, then I can't either. You see what I mean? Because like Tilson say, you can't win against yourself. And I know that as to be the absolute truth. So what is it that I'm waiting for? Like for me to laugh at you? Nah. Because remember, anyone who laugh at anything, in turn will be laughed at. That's the way of life. You see what I'm saying? It's just, you know what I mean? It's just the way of life. You see? That's anyway, like we say, with you, amongst you, our platform running, with your help or not, you will always be safe. You see what I mean? So we'll make sure of that. Because we have many guidance, we have great ones. Like that's why before you can know who to follow, you have to first be able to be followed. That's why you see, we can share with you Muji. We didn't know of Muji except less than 2 years ago. We didn't know of Sadhguru. But how do we know about them? Because of what we're saying, the synthetic algorithm and the organic algorithm. The synthetic algorithm connects us to the words that we are saying on social media and the things that we share that have a similarity. So the one consciousness of the AI bring it into one, and then we are collided. Now they are brought to my attention as I am brought to their attention, or something like this. But I pay attention because I see the uniqueness in their voices and in their messages and the connection with what I myself understand of the world and stuff like that. So therefore, I may share of what they say. Why? Because I am of the same understanding or of the same truth. That's why it's so important that it is the self. You can only rely on yourself because it's going to take the self, because especially when knowledge is rampant in the age of knowledge, knowledge is everywhere. Even the thought is knowledge. Everything is knowledge. Everybody's talking. Knowledge everywhere. So you think it's going to be easy now to discern? No. The more there is knowledge, the less discernment it will become. You see what I'm saying? It's harder to discern. So now you have only yourself to rely on. That's why many people say, I don't trust nobody. Why? Because every time they think they could trust this, they realize, they were mistaken. Why? Because they were trusting against themselves. Not because they knew what to trust, but because it felt good to some part of themselves. What if it only feels good to the ego? The ego is only about the feeling good. If it feels good to ego, doesn't mean it's good for you. Just like sugar feels good to children, but is it good for children to be consuming sugar all the time? Nah, that's the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we so focus on you. We're not saying, okay, someone didn't do something bad or whatever. That's not our job to say or do or talk about anyone's past or whatever. We don't have time for that whatsoever. But it is our job to take that energy and bring it back to yourself. Because we understand wherever the energy, the mind goes, the energy follows. If you're talking about someone or whatever, then that's where the energy is gonna go to, whatever. When you yourself needs that energy for yourself. So our job is to, be there to assist you in when you are being an enemy against your own self. So we can help you help yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. In reality, we have yet to see what you have done for us, except that we are learning from your own mistakes more than you may be learning from them. You see what I'm saying? So but the energy must be recycled. As we seek to do for you, we expect something back. Not it's just the way of the world, the Hermetic principles. You see, whatever gives shall receive. You see what I'm saying? It's not about a depending thing, but it's just the way of the world, way of the universe. You see what I'm saying? But would we need anything if you have not enough good to offer? No. So of course, until we are able, then you see. I don't know. I'm sure you see the thing. Sometimes we hard to say certain things because it sounds like we're bragging or whatever, and there's nothing I hate more. You see, that's why I'm watching my tongue because I don't want to say that. But at the same time, we are cheating. Why? Because by saying this thing, we are helping you, forcing you to see what needs to be done and how to move and this and that. But we know there's a limit to the help that we can give each other. We cannot help someone. We cannot tell someone what to see except that show them where to look or how to see for themselves. You cannot. You see what I mean? That's why the ancestors, they may be powerful enough to help you overcome whatever. But there's nothing to overcome unless you do it for yourself, you see? Because that evolution is based on what you have overcome yourself, not what you are saved from. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. That's why that nonsense or that ways of thinking or waiting for Christ Savior or whatever, the Christ Savior is only that, the proper way to understand it is that same crystal energy within all of us. You see that which once it's activated, ignited, and stuff like this, then you're able to see things for what they are, and then whatever you see, whatever solution comes from that is the whole solution for yourself. You see what I'm saying? So it is indeed the Savior, but it is not someone that's gonna be it for you. It is you opening yourself to the Christ energy, so that it can do the wonders in your own life and whoever surrounds you or something. But it goes from the inside out. So, like we said, we didn't want to make this too long, and as you can see, we were cut off from the first half, and that half is not going to be available. That's why we had to make sure to say as much as possible. But this is our intake on the virus. But we told you how to keep safe on it physically and stuff like this, like the main things that mainstream is telling you in the first place. But at the same time, we know that the mind, nothing, you should not be worried much, because when you worry, you will lower your frequency. So this is why we didn't focus on making it a further fear-mongering nonsense, so that we focus on the spiritual aspect of it, where you have less to worry about. You see what I mean? Because it's about failing and repeating when it comes to that part. You see what I mean? If you fail yourself, then all you have to do is to repeat, you see, or something like that, you see. So the thing is, like, it's just, but we must understand that it's not about, okay, it's time now, I'm a leader, I can do this, I'm a king, I used to be king, my ancestors are king, and whatever, and then now we need to take over, blah, blah, blah. That's not what it is. Because there's necessary work. There's the only reason you see all this mismanagement in wealth, mismanagement in everything, it's because of the understanding people had before. That same understanding you are having now, you see. They thought it was about a race thing or superior race, and okay, we are the one to control everyone in the world, blah, 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 to control the resources. But they didn't see the within aspect. I mean, okay, before you can control the resources outside, you have to be able to control the resources within. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't look to evolve, but except they took their bestial animal selves and seek to control the world with that mentality or with that level of being. You see what I mean? So now we cannot allow you to come and repeat the mistake. That is why you may think sometimes that we are kissing the asses of the 1% or whatever, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Or kissing the asses of this. It may seem that way at times. You see what I mean? But the thing we are trying to do is so that the 1% it's already passed. It's done with. Now it's a new time. So our job is not to reject the 1%, it's to accept what it was they have to offer and the lessons they have to offer from their own mistakes. It's not for us to reject that. It's for us to analyze that so that we don't repeat that. You see what I'm saying? So of course it's always gonna, whatever your mind will tell you, but we will always help you see it the proper way too, so long as, God give us the time to do so. You see what I mean? But we do understand how you're gonna take it in the first place. You see, because we know where you're at and you understand we've been there. You see, we've been there, done that. So that's what it is. That's why you have to be able to see further before you can help those that are on the level. You see what I mean? That's the thing. You see. So the thing is, somehow that's what it is. That's why you see we don't think bad of whatever is going on. You see, or we don't seek to worry about what the scientists are doing, blah blah blah, except that we worry about what we're saying and doing ourselves. You see. So I hope, and I say I is because I is all. You see, I hope you can see yourself in my words, and whether it's tame, the part of you that you tame, because if the ego self is the master within you, then of course ego is the worst of master. So it's gonna literally tie up the mouth of spirit. Like, you don't say shit. You see what I mean? That's how ego's gonna deal with spirit as a slave. You see what I'm saying? But it's your fault. You see. So that's why we hope that we said enough to help you understand what we talked about, because we understand we don't speak to the lay minds. With our words, we may misguide the lay mind. You see, because the lay mind, the best they can do is to ask questions and then seek understanding from the mouth that's utter the words. You see, but they cannot comprehend it, except that they can hurt themselves with what they heard. You see what I'm saying? And when we do that, it's not something by choice we want to do that or whatever, but that's what needs to be done, because ego is among us, and ego, the more knowledge you give ego, the more dangerous ego become, because there's no saying that ego is going to use that knowledge in the proper way or something like that, because we are also with the ego. And so we know ego. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when we speak, we have to be aware of all the different state of minds that may hear what say. That's why we welcome anyone who laugh, who ridicule, because that tells us, okay, those are the ones dangerous levels that may hear the things that we say and stuff like this. So should we be mad at them for ridiculizing what we say? Or should we see it as a blessing? At least that's the least they do, ridiculizing it, you see, which takes nothing away from it. The only one that may be misguided from the ridicule is those that were not meant to hear it in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So that's all. Once you are moving with the heart, you are moving in a loving frequency, you really have nothing to worry about. Nothing whatsoever. So live in love, laugh, learn, by all means. And of course, if any toxicity comes your way, as we always say, sprinkle some love on that shit. Thank you for listening. This was your brother Vlad on your podcast, V Podcast, VIE. C'est la vie, all the things, hashtags that we always say. Shout out to all the spiritual leaders, everyone that are helping people physically and spiritually, even financially. Like we say, when we speak on those things, we are speaking, when we say certain things, it's only based on the perspective. That's why sometimes you may hear us say things about the money leaders that are uplifting, that are great, is because of speaking on that level. But once we vibrate higher, then of course we're not gonna lie to ourselves and pretend that the same thing hold the same value higher when you move higher. No, because it doesn't work that way. Our job is not to lie to you and pretend that it is the same, remains the same. We just speak it fluently as it's supposed to, and then you may be mad now and hug us or pay us later when you come to realization yourself. So there really is nothing to worry about. I know we present a danger in ourselves and And if we are a danger to ourselves, we are a danger to everyone, of course. But at the same time, we do our best to assist one another. Each one teach one. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Thank you guys for listening. Anyone who were fortunate enough to hear this live, and those who have yet to come to hear it. We didn't mean to come live today. We wanted to take a break because we have to understand the aspect of the giving and the giving and the giving. We have to we charge, we feel ourselves again and again so that we can continue to abundantly share or something like this, because we are alone, we are on our own with this. It's our money, our energy, our everything. But like I said, the world deserves it. The world is worth it. You worth it. You deserve it. So thank you for listening. Enjoy your weekend, and as well as your upcoming hustle week. Have fun, you know, live, love, laugh, and learn. This is V Podcast. Wholeness. Bum, bum, bum. Okay.